Hey friends, Leslie from A Friend to Knit With. Welcome to episode 13 of A Friend to Knit With podcast. This is a podcast mostly about knitting. I do sprinkle in a little bit of everyday life maybe, or other things, but today I'm pretty sure it's predominantly knitting. I am filming from a different location. I usually film from above our garage in Espace, but today I'm in our living room. I've been watching so many wonderful Vlogmases and it really had me in the spirit. So I decided just maybe I'll do it in front of the tree, which needs a little more love, but maybe this weekend we'll give it to it. I can be found on Ravelry as Friend to Friend. I am Leslie Friend on Instagram and my blog name is A Friend to Knit With. So I do have a couple of finished things to show you. The one that I'm wearing is the first one I'll show you. It's called the Slipstravaganza by Stephen West. And I don't know if you've ever done any of his knit-alongs. They are fabulous. He is a creative design genius. And I just couldn't even believe some of the things that were coming off of my needle, stitches that I had never done. So the entire thing is predominantly slip stitches in every section, not the whole thing, but he uses slip stitches in every section. So that's why it's called the Slipstravaganza. It's a mystery. So he gives a different clue every Friday. And he does one every fall. So this was his 11th mystery knit along. I'll show you the different sections. It truly was like the most fun I had all year. No, the most fun I had knitting. Yes, definitely was. Cooking in my kitchen was probably the most fun. But he really, it's a masterpiece. It's a total masterpiece. So what he did was started here at the top with the honeycomb, is what he calls it. So this is the honeycomb stitch. This was clue number 1. And then he did a bonus clue because he's been doing this 11 years and he probably knows knitters' behavior. And the knitters, mostly, not me, but flew through this first section. And then he came out with this bonus section, maybe the Tuesday of the next week before the following Friday, which he would come out with clue number 2. So this was all clue number 1, and this is the honeycomb. And then I believe this is called columns. And everything's achieved. These are all achieved by slipping stitches like that. See how that is? Those are just slipped stitches brought up to make honeycombs, which, yes, I had never done honeycombs. It was very fun. And then the columns, and then this is called the diamond section. And like I said, it's just achieved by bringing all of those stitches up in the middle at different points in the row. So that was clue number 2. And then clue number 3 doesn't seem very big because it's just this. But by that point, you have, I don't know, 700 and some stitches on the needle. So it takes a good week, and there's a lot of knitting in a week. I'm just going to tell you. There's goals. And if you're goal-oriented, then you're going to love it because you want to finish it by Friday so you don't get behind. I love a good goal, especially in my knitting. I set goals for myself a lot, probably all the time. It just helps me, I don't know, stay on track, stay motivated, be inspired. And so then here's this fourth section, and that was called the chevron. And he wrote it to either do 6 of the chevrons or 3. I chose 3. I thought it might just be too much, and to tell you the truth, I was a little finished with the knitting at that point, and wanted to get all of those stitches off the needle. I didn't have a very big cable between, and they were really cramped, and I couldn't really see what it looked like except from looking at everyone else on Ravelry and Instagram, which a lot of people did this. And if you did it, I'd love to see it. So leave a comment and let me know where you have pictures of yours. I'd love to see it because they're all so different and they're all so beautiful. And then the I-cord bind off, you guys, took me about 2 days. And if you've ever done an I-cord bind off, you know that it's a beautiful way to finish something, but it's also extremely time consuming. So that's 2 days of a lot of knitting is what it took. But I love the drape. He encourages you to use yarn from your stash. I had an orange chosen in here earlier I exchanged it for the white, or I swapped it out for the white because that's the thing with he's also so colorful and playful and lovely, and I don't wear a lot of colors. I wish I did. I'm a pretty tonal and neutral person. So this was as crazy, I guess, as I thought I could get with having something that I wanted to wear, which I definitely, after all the time that's spent in this, I definitely wanted to wear it. But I love that you can wear it all sorts of different ways and show all different patterns, you know, and I don't know, play with it, but it's very cozy. I used my Knit Crate yarns that were part of a Knit Crate, the Knit Crate subscription, and so I had all my fingering weight yarns, which I have a lot of, and they are all different fibers. So the dark green is 100% baby alpaca, which feels amazing. And then I also have some linen, some superwash merino, some silk, some stellina, everything sort of mixed in here. So it's full of different fibers, which I also love, and has a few of the little sparkly stellinas in there. I don't know if you can see it, but yes, I am pleased as punch with how this turned out. And yeah, I think it really makes me want to travel. Can't wait to travel again. How about you guys? Just go sit somewhere and have a coffee, cappuccino. Yeah, one day we'll get back there. So this was the first knit along I did and finished. And then the other knit along I took part of was the Knit Collage knit along. And Amy Small is the owner of that business, and she puts together an also incredibly thought out knit along. So professional, so well done. It is geared towards all knitters. If you've never knit a sweater though, I highly encourage you to hop on one of her knit alongs because she has video tutorials the entire way explaining what to do. And I thought, you know what, if Libby were learning to knit, this is exactly how I would, you know, if you don't have somebody right there with you, that's how it would be great to learn. So my daughter Libby, I made this sweater for her, and it's called the Flower Power Cardigan. So Amy had 4, I believe, patterns during this knit along and that you could choose from. And I don't believe these patterns are available until, I don't know when. I don't think they're available right now though. I think what she does is she puts them out in her knit along and then she waits a while, because last year I wanted to make the kaleidoscope cardigan. I didn't get in on that knit along, and that pattern just became available during Black Friday. So I'm not sure when this will be available, but you can, you know, just put it in your queue or something and try to remember that this was something cute that you wanted to make. but Libby absolutely loves this. I have pictures of her wearing it on Instagram, and the yarns are just so darling. This is called the daisy chain, I think. It had little daisies just sewn through the yarn. I think there's one there. I have a couple over here. One on her shoulder. But it was a really fun sweater to knit. Amy has Zoom calls. She has yoga classes. You can really be a part of this community, meet new friends. It really is a great knit along if you are ever looking for one. I also learned, you know, here's my year of learning, but I had never needle felted the ends. So because this is such a chunky, she said, I think she said you could do it on finer yarns also, but I don't know if I would try yet. Maybe on a swatch. But what you do is, you know how the tails stick out? Well, that one probably needs to be redone, or maybe I didn't even do that one. But what you would do is put the pad, the needle felting, you would put this under there, and then you take the tool, and there are 3 needles in there that are pretty sharp. You have to be super careful. And you poke the needle down there about 15 or 20 times, and it just felts that end in, so you don't have any of these annoying little tails hanging out. I think it just looks so much more professional. This did not come with the kit, but I did buy that separately. Oh, it's called a Wool Buddy. That's very cute. So, yep, see, I used it a lot, but loved it. I was very hesitant and scared at the very beginning, but it worked out well. And yeah, I think this is a darling sweater for Libby. I wanted it at the beginning for myself, but I thought she would enjoy it a little more. So that was my second knit along I was part of. My third knit along is the half and half triangles wrap. So what happened was, I don't know, I mentioned this last podcast. By the way, okay, continental versus English style. I had so much fun reading the comments. I wanted to put down a list of how many are continental knitters and how many are English knitters. I will for my next podcast. It did seem like there are more continental knitters, which are the pickers, than the throwers, the English style knitters. It did also seem like a lot of English style knitters want to learn how to knit continental. So I found that interesting. It's probably for the speed of knitting. And we all know we have so many projects we want to work on. So that could be the reason why. So this was what I was starting to knit on continental, predominantly continental style knitting project. And my stitches were all of different sort of tension. I didn't mind that one bit. I kind of thought it would be sweet that this was my continental shawl, and yeah, I was totally fine with it. But what I wasn't fine with was the end. I didn't like how that looked, and maybe it was because I was doing it continental. I don't think so. This is how usually the end looks. The little purl bumps stick up, and I just don't think that has a very nice finish on it. So Amy from the Meaningful Stitch mentioned that she slips the last stitch. So she knits across, and when she comes back, the last stitch, she slips with the yarn in the front. So what happens is, wait, here's my other. So I cast on again because I decided I just need to rip that out because I need that yarn. But what I decided was, you know what, I'm actually getting better at continental, and so that's one. And two, I don't like how that looked either, so I'm going to do my edge a little nicer too. Now I'm doing 3 stitches. I'm knitting the last, I'm knitting to the last 3, and slipping 3 with the yarn in front. But 1 works fine, 2, 3. I'm not sure if I do more than 3. I did 3 on this, and I also have done Hannah Falkenberg sweaters. I don't know if you've heard of those, but Hannah's a big fan of the edges being, because she does all garter, not all of her patterns, but the ones I did were garter stitch, and she always slips the last 3 stitches and with the yarn in front. So you just have to remember, bring the yarn in front when you're knitting across and slip those stitches. So what it does is on the other end, so here I am, that was the last 3 that I slipped the yarn in front, and now I'm gonna knit and bring this to the front, and it just creates a very beautiful edge. I love how it looks. Wait, get this yarn off. So remember that it would be great on a baby blanket or regular blanket or anything that you're knitting complete garter stitch. Yeah, slip the last 3, 2, 1 with the yarn in front. All right, so what I do have something on my needles. I looked it up to see how it was pronounced, and dictionary.com said Mousseux. It's Mousseux, and it means sparkling wine, which I love that. Okay, so that's what this sweater is. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's from Espace, Tricot, and Mousseux. Is that right? That's what dictionary.com said. So I am copying exactly what Melissa did. This is Espace Tricot's Halo in Opera. I have dropped down a needle size. You're supposed to knit it in size 8. I am almost getting gauged, so I'm making a size bigger than I would normally make, and I am having to add rows in between each increase because my row gauge was off also. And I usually don't check row gauge, but when you, from your shoulder to your underarm, you definitely need to have the correct amount or else it'd be too short, and just wouldn't fit on my arm. So I'm almost, I have, I think, another inch until I can separate. I have it all cramped onto just a small cable though, so I can't really show you too much of it, but that's the neckline. And yes, and I'm trying to do this predominantly continental, although I can't really watch TV and knit continental because I have to look too much. So I am doing some English and I don't really see a difference in my tension, which is good. I mean, and if I do, it's a little, and I think that that will just block out. I'm okay with it. So, because it's mohair and yeah, and it's lovely. It'll be fine. So I'll let you know how that turns out. But speaking of TV, is anyone watching Anthony? It is so good. Anne is just, it's based off of Anne of Green Gables. And if you're in the mood for something, if you need something good for your soul, I promise it is just such a great, great show. I love it. And nobody's really talking about it. And I don't understand why, because I think it is fantastic. And my husband loves it too. So, all right. I want to show you what I'm going to knit. And I decided when I was bringing out this beautiful yarn that I would show you the toast mitts that I'm going to make. If I make these for anyone, I have 4 balls. This was part of November's Knit Crate subscription. And I love the colors so much. Now they're 100, it's a worsted weight. They're 100 yards. I think that's all that I need for these toast mitts. I wanted to tell you that I want, if you're watching this before December 25th, before Christmas, I would love to give you this pattern for free. It's on Ravelry. It's called Toast. Use the coupon LETSTOAST. I just thought that up. And, okay, so Let's Toast, and you can make a pair of these too. I'm sure you have some stash yarn around, and I promise these are my most beloved knit that I wear all the time. I have so many pairs of these. This was out of a hedgehog fiber yarn. But they really are just super simple. You could have it done for a gift for someone. And I promise they will wear them. If you make them for yourself, you will wear them. You won't ever want to. They take the chill off on a chilly morning. They, whenever you're chilly, it's amazing just adding this much to your body, how it warms your body. You can pull them up over your fingers. Looks like I'm selling you to make these, but I just want you to have a pair because I promise you would love them. And I want one of your loved ones to have a pair. So let's toast. All right. So let's toast to 2021. I am so appreciative for you stopping by here. I probably won't see you till next year. So I wish you peace, love, joy. Knit all the things and just take great care of yourself. PSA to drink more water. This is the time of year I always forget. So cheers. Let's toast. All right. Take care. Bye.